Hi, I am Emily Hilker, and this is Building Behavior Block by Block. This week on our video series, we're going to be talking about behavior momentum. So, this simply means that we are using a series of requests that the student is likely to do to get them to be more compliant when we get to a request that they are not likely to do. So, it's kind of a buildup. We are going to give multiple high probability requests and then end with a low probability request. Okay, so you're building momentum to what you really want the student to do by giving them easy or more preferred demands to build up to it. So if you think about when we work out, we don't just go to the weight machines and start lifting right away. We have to stretch. We have to ease into things and kind of build up to those more difficult weightlifting activities. We might not just hop on the treadmill and start running. We might walk first or jog and then slowly increase our speed. Behavior momentum is the same thing. We are going to give requests that are a little bit easier, a little bit more tolerable, and build up to that more difficult task toward the end. Think about things that you like to ease into. If you have a list of jobs at home, you might not be the person that's going to do the worst job first. You might do a couple easy little things to get them crossed off your list and build up to that more difficult, longer lasting job. So let's just review. When we are giving directions or demands, there is a way to give them that makes students to comply more commonly. So I just want to run through those steps. When you give a command or a directive, it should be a statement. It should not be a request. So when teachers say, "Can everyone please get out their books?" The way that you asked that was with a can. So you're requesting, you're asking if they will. So if a student says, "No, I can't," you're kind of stuck. So when you give a demand or a directive in your classroom, it should sound more like a statement. "Take out your books, please." The second one says to gain proximity and eye contact. When you are about to give directions to a student who is often non-compliant, it helps to gain proximity to them and get closer to them. It also helps to ensure that you have eye contact. The third one kind of goes right along with that, in that you wait for their attention. So you might say to a student, "Johnny," and you wait for them to look and ensure that you have their attention. You've gained proximity, you're close, and then you give your statement. Remember, it's not a request, it's a statement. It's time to take out your book. Your direction should be clear and simple. When we give long-winded directions, students get lost in language. So make sure you have very simple and concise directions about what needs to happen. It often helps to write them down too. So if you are giving directions, you could list them on the board. The picture here shows what we should not be doing. We should not be pleading with kids. We should not be negotiating and saying, "Please just do this for me." In the classroom, the teacher's giving the direction, and the expected behavior would be that students are following them. There will be times where there are students who push back and refuse or are non-compliant, and behavior momentum is a strategy that will help you work with those students. But on the first try, make sure you're giving your demands and directives in this format. So here's some directions for behavior momentum. Things that we should do. Identify some high probability behaviors, some things that the students are likely to do. You want to have maybe 3 or more that you're going to be able to give quickly. Then you want to give your low probability behavior, something that you are like, I'm not sure if the student's going to really like doing that. And you need to have some appropriate consequences in your mind for if they don't follow through. When you're using this strategy, it would be great if you were collecting and reviewing your data to make sure that it's working. And your goal is to reduce the amount of high probability requests you have to give before leading up to that low probability behavior. So when you think about a student pushing that really hard task up a hill, that's a challenging thing. We want to make it a little bit easier, and this picture shows behavior momentum. So we would be giving requests that are easy for the student. Clap, stomp, clap, dance, sit, shoes on. Shoes on is the low probability behavior that is more difficult. But by chaining all of these easier tasks beforehand, and by praising the student after each one, the student is more likely to follow the momentum and do this last behavior or task. Okay. In a classroom setting, if you have an assignment that you're asking a student maybe to write 3 sentences to respond to something, and you know that that is a low probability behavior, they're not likely to do that without some resistance. Then you may want to have other things lead up to that. Okay, can everyone open up their Chromebook? Hey, Johnny, nice job. I like how you got that out right away. I need you to open up Google Classroom and go to this form. Again, offer praise. Wow, you did that awesome. Thank you for getting there right away. The first question, make sure your name's on it. First question is multiple choice. Go ahead and get that done. Gain proximity. Wow, awesome job. High five. Whatever kind of praise that student is responsive to. I've given 3 high probability requests to that student. I praised after each one. Now I'm going to give the low probability request. Okay, you need to have 3 sentences to answer the next question. If their follow through is there, I'm going to again praise. You did that right away. I really like how you had 3 complete sentences. Nice job. And then you're going to keep going. You want to keep building on that momentum. So this doesn't have to be simple things like the example shows of clap, stomp, sit. It can be more difficult things that are happening in your classroom and that we might see even in the middle school and the high school. But it's really thinking about setting up the structure that you have some easier directions that you're giving and that you praise and provide reinforcement for those to lead up to that more difficult one, that you don't hit a student right away with that. Okay, today we're writing a 3-page essay on this topic. Everyone get ready, let's go. That's probably going to set the student right away into noncompliance. So is this a trick? Is this something that's really going to work? This is evidence-based. This has been proven to work. There's many research articles about this. And what they have found is that you are building on those positive interactions. So by giving an easier request and by praising the student and having some positive interactions, you are more likely to see compliance on the more difficult tasks. In that process, you are building a stronger relationship with that student. You're building some rapport. You're building some trust. And the student is more responsive to the teacher. Oftentimes with that comes that the student wants to please and do their best and continue to get that feedback and attention from the teacher. So they're more willing to try that difficult task at the end. In addition, it increases student confidence. When you have changed some easier tasks to lead up to that more difficult task, they have been told, you did it, great job. I really like how hard you're working. Nice job doing that right away. All of that confidence has built them up so that they are more likely and more confident in themselves to try that more difficult task. All right, that's behavior momentum. If you would have any questions about this, you are welcome to email me. Like I said, there are many research articles about this that you could simply Google to find out more information. I'd be happy to come into your classroom and model this and help you try it if you are interested. Thanks.